Still got some resin flash on these guys. Not a huge deal. Okay. Let's see, so this is the human team. Or, well, not humans, Kaiser's Palace. Oh. Am I missing one? I got her. Number 2 here. I really need to clean up that flash, but it's okay. We can hit that sooner or later. Now, the goblins I'm going to end up highlighting a lot brighter than the orcs, so they're going to be like, you know, sort of your limey green eventually. This guy's finger broke off. That was one thing that kind of sucked. Like, there are a few miniatures that I have from this game already, and they'll be pointing with a finger, and those fingers were long gone. They were not in the packaging or anything, so I've got to green stuff a few little pointers on. Not a big deal though, it's pretty easy. Simple enough to do. But until then, paint it up like normal. Boom. Second goblin here. I think this one's the grappler, if I'm not mistaken. So now, we've got a big troll. I have no idea what color to paint this guy. I am not sure at all. He's a big muscularly dude. I'm thinking, I mean, we could do green, right? I mean, why not? Let's mix up more paint here. it around. Purple ogre. We'll play around with it. He'll start off green, but we'll have his like knuckles, and we'll just shift it around due to his large size. Okay, this guy's a big troll. There's actually an ogre on the Kaiser Palace team. I'm trying to base coat everything at the same time, so we're working on 10 miniatures at once. Shouldn't be too difficult of a challenge. See if my gaming level painting speed skills are still at it. I'm sure they are. It's like riding a bike. Currently taking orders? What do you mean? The store has been open for 2 months. If you mean like the web store. So the web store is only for Patreon people, and it has been for a month. I announced that about a month ago that I was making that change, and all that information's on Patreon. Every month it updates with like the store password and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've been asking people to make orders for over 2 months, and people really haven't. So that's why I'm pretty much going to shut the business down here in about a month if things don't improve. Unfortunately. I'll probably sell almost all my printers. I'll leave myself one. Most likely gonna have to sell my camera. And, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so, now then the humans, we're gonna do it a couple different ways. Or not the humans, I keep calling them like the human team, but it's really halflings and ogre, right? But we're gonna do multiple skin tones. We'll do like a tannishy olive guy, we'll do a black guy, we'll do a white guy, off tan guy, a really light skinned guy, right? Like we'll just do a nice little array, buffet of buff dudes. Does that work? Let me see. So we need like this color. Yeah. Oh, and then of course I literally don't have a tan skin over here, which is fun. It's all the way across the room right there. I'm looking right at it. A little bit of black on the palette too. But as you can tell, right, we are utilizing our zenithal. Getting the skin done on all of these is going to be pretty quick. These will take a little bit longer, just because we have so many different boas, right? So let's start with this guy. I want this guy to be a little halfling here. Missing a face. See, like I said, man. Fingers on resin minis just disappear, but I'm not concerned with fixing that currently. Because all that takes is a little green stuff, and then boom, you're back in action. Or even milliput. You can use milliput, but I use green stuff for that type of repair work. Alright, so he's going to be very tan. On that big belly. I got the ring painted up, big MDF ring as well. It's not polite to point anyway. What's up, man? Yeah, Sydney and I are gonna play tomorrow night. So I figured let me try and slam some color on them to make it a little bit easier to see. Alright, that'll be a good base coat for him. Moving on to this guy, we're going to go lighter. Another halfling. And these sculpts are pretty basic. These wrestlers are pretty basic. None of them are all-stars, I think is the term. Superstar? I forget. So none of them are like crazy. They all have very basic moves. But I was kind of talking about it yesterday. This game is pretty inexpensive now. I actually was looking, and it looks like they're currently out of starter sets. You can find starter sets on other websites, but if you're trying to order directly from TT Combat. But like Noble Knight has a good selection, Game Castle has a good selection here in the US. But it's pretty cheap. Like if you literally want a team of wrestlers, it's like $33 or something. So like that's pretty cheap. Comes with cards, but the starter set honestly is the best deal. It comes with an MDF, or not MDF, sorry, a little neoprene mat that's the ring, and then it also comes with like custom dice and acrylic markers. I mean, it is like above and beyond in terms of value. So really, really good. But yeah, I mean, the game like doesn't take itself seriously, and like all miniature games take themselves seriously, right? Like they're fun to play, but none of them are like meant to be kind of just goofy. And this game is meant to be goofy, so especially with all the different teams. There's like a Day of the Dead themed team. There's like a halfling luchador team. There's I forget what they call them, something like Palm Oasis or I forget what. But there's like an Egyptian team, and one of their superstar heavies that you can buy is a literal sculpt that looks like The Rock from Scorpion King, except it's not like hideous. The Egyptian team has a giant scarab beetle that they call the Yeetle, because he eats you out of the arena, like he just throws the shit out of people. The halfling luchador team and the Day of the Dead, they're all from the same. Monte Carlo is the casino that they fight for, because they all fight for different casinos, and they have like, they've got like a living pinata. They've got it's just it's just crazy, all the stuff. They just came out with a dinosaur team, a T-Rex with like tiny baby arms, right? Like it's just interesting, all the different ideas that they have. Okay, look at that. Three skin tones in 2 seconds flat. Let me get a little bit of whoop. I was about to say, let me get a little bit of white. Where is it? Let's see how much work I can get done tonight, right? A not so challenge. Damn, where did I put the white? I used it earlier today. I bet it is. It's right here. So, do you think the white was in the way of an airbrush? Look at that. Professional. Alright, we'll get that on there. And then literal tan skin, but we're not going to rock out like that. This guy, it's going to be a mix between these two. Very, very red. Come on now, man. Where are you at? Yeah, come on. Why do you hate me? There it is. There we go. Water here. This is the big heavy for the other team, or for the Kaiser's Palace guys. Big ogre. And I'm thinking about doing airbrush shadow from below on all of them. So that's always a really good tip if you are just trying to paint stuff up relatively quickly. Like when I was doing tabletop level commission work and stuff, right? I would paint them all pretty basic, but then spend time doing airbrush shadows. And it really takes your stuff up to like the next level, right? Without too much extra effort. In terms of commission pricing right back when I was doing these big gigs. It would be a difference between a $10 miniature or a $15 miniature, just for that added work at the end. So, not that I was being paid at all appropriately, but I was just like doing anything I could to make money. You know what I mean? So, those average commissions would be around $400. Like when I was first starting out, I mean, I would take anything. You know, if somebody was going to send me 10 minis for $100, I would do it. But typically, most commissions would be anywhere between $200 and $400 at that level. And then, you know, once I was actually doing like good painting for people, then the pricing would go up to anywhere between like, you know, on the low end, like 500 to like 1200-ish. Sometimes I had more. I had a few like 2,000 plus, but we stopped doing all that a long time ago. Okay, so you're gonna be really warm skin. Let me hit this side here. Okay, last human here. We got our cross arm boy. This kind of reminds me of like Mel Gibson for some reason. I don't know why. All right, so all of these dry. We're gonna pop in over on the orcs and goblins. Okay, we'll push all them out of the way. So, the orcs, I wanted to do more of your... Oh, we're still a little bit left. Alright, well anyway. I wanted to do, you know, more traditional colors, so let's grab typical little grass green-ish. Oh my god, we gotta shake this bottle for real. There you go. Then I'm going to get the tan skin out here, and that will be our mix-up highlight color for these. Add a little bit in. Here we are. Then make sure we're nice and thin. Boom, we are ready to rock. So, this guy, decent. Now then, painting muscles is easy. It's something I think I do a pretty decent job at. So let's see if I can mess them up here. Yeah, we're gonna be just fine. Now then, you know, painting these guys up really fast should be simple, right? Because we're using very similar skin tones. I mean, the big troll, obviously, a little bit different. And then the goblins are going to be much brighter. But it's all greens, you know. Other team, every single one of them has a different skin tone, so we don't really have the luxury of being able to just work our way up on all of them at the exact same time. Got a little flash on the leg there. I cleaned these up a little bit. I mean, you know, these are gaming minis for me, so I'm not trying to win any awards. I'm just trying to be satisfied. even though I did put way more effort into painting the ring than I thought I would, I actually went back and added a checkerboard. Hold on, I'll show you on my camera. Because I know I shared it the other day, but I was like, wait a minute, I want to make this look different. So, where are we at? Let's see. Here it is. Okay, here we go. So I ended up doing like a little checkerboardy style pattern. So you can see the guys that I'm painting right now are actually right there. Okay. Back at it. So you can see that highlight we put on, really it's just a new sort of base color covering up the zenithal. Really the color that comes after this one is the like highlight that we're going to get the most utility out of. Yeah, these guys are really good at throwing teammates, and so they essentially get to do it for free when normally it would cost action. And so they are supposed to throw the goblins at people, right? And then some of the goblins are good at just being in the air in general, but one of them is really good at, against bouncing off of the ropes. And so, you know, you want to throw him into the ropes, and then the goblin will bounce off, and then whoever the goblin hits, right, takes damage, or better yet, gets knocked down. And then once someone's knocked down, you can toss them out of the ring. Literally, the entire point of the game is just to get people out of the ring by knocking them out, or by knocking them out of the ring, right, by throwing them. So, and yeah, I mean, it's intriguing too, right, because they can do attacks off of the ropes. And like, so like anyone can do a basic, it's like everyone will have special moves that are classified in different ways. Either like a crowd pleaser, so something that like, you know, like fart in somebody's face and everyone's like, yeah, you know. Or it could be a crowd pleaser, but it's a boo. And so like everyone boos and it does a certain effect or negatively affects other wrestlers. And then there are just regular attacks, right, that happen just in combat, like a brawl, I guess is what it's classified as. Some people have other special attacks, like if you have a character that can like do something weird like breathe fire or something, right? And then there are, like I said, rope attacks where all you gotta do is be up against a rope, and then you move 5 spaces directly straight away from the rope, and whatever you hit gets hit. And then if you have like a special rope attack, right, then whatever that is activates. And then there's also turnbuckles, so like the things in the corner of the ring, you can jump up onto those and then literally like dive bomb attack people within a certain amount of range. And so some guys have specialty attacks that are for the turnbuckle, and that's like what they're really good at doing as well, like dive bombing. And I think some of the goblins actually are good at turnbuckle attacks. So, and then if I remember correctly, the games last 6 rounds, like a match lasts 6 rounds. So whoever has the most people in the ring at the end is the winner. And they have like an expansion too, with some like, I think they call it the back alley brawl, and so there's like garbage cans and stuff like that. And then there's like a referee pack with special referees. There's an event deck that you can buy that has like special events. So I wonder why the chat got moved over like that. I don't know. But so that's what's funny too, right? Like I'm not a wrestling fan at all, and I never have been, interestingly enough. So for me, it was just a game that seemed fun and easy. And so that's kind of why I was interested in it. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to focus in on the orcs instead of the goblins, and we're going to finish highlighting these up. Because yeah, a lot of the people that end up playing the game, because I'm in like the Facebook groups and I'm in their Discord. The Discord's dead, but Facebook group people post occasionally, and they're like big wrestling fans, you know what I mean? And so they'll like reference wrestling stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about, but I had a couple friends growing up that were like really into it, and I was not. I didn't know anything about it. I think a few times it was on TV, and my mom was like, "Change the channel. You're not allowed to watch that," you know. And I grew up in like the peak wrestling era of the 90s to early 2000s, when all the crazy stuff happened. Like, I remember hearing about things, right? Because like that's how big wrestling was at the time, at its peak. Look at that, easy orc skin. Boom. No, I didn't have any siblings, so just that it was like dirty, you know. Yeah, American wrestling, they were doing like wild stuff. But that was the whole appeal, was that it's like this, you know, shock opera, soap opera. Obviously they're hitting each other, but all the it's real to me, damn it, that famous video. Yeah, it was all about storylines and, you know, characters and stuff. Characters evolving over time. Well, it was more than that. I mean, it was like, you know, some characters were like racist. Like, literally. One of them was like a KKK guy. Or, you know, like covered in blood, or, you know, just weird stuff. The later into the 90s you went, and then into the like the 2000s, that's when it got really weird with like the storylines and the characters, and like it was like a literal soap opera, or like reality show. I take it back. It was a, you know, it was a very early form reality show. Like, oh, this guy, you know, slept with this other wrestler's wife, and now they have to have a cage match, and like, you know, just like dumb stuff like that. We'll pay more attention to the faces at some point. Yeah, I'm sure it was like how MMA was, where they didn't have people in the stands at all. It was just like weird. We're subbing in for the sci-fi this evening. support is optional. I didn't really say that either. So like you can buy, they actually have multiple different styles. I think I got the cheaper one. They have one that's a little bit fancier that I think, I could be wrong, but I swear it has like storage options or something on the inside of it. I don't know exactly, but otherwise they just have like little mouse pad MDF style rings. I mean, that's the other thing too that's nice about the game. It doesn't take up a lot of space. So terrain, not really a thing unless you buy like the trash can and share pack, you know, and you want to throw those around or whatever. But I don't have any of that stuff. So all of that was airbrushed. Cause yeah, if I knew to do any big terrain stuff like that, it's all going to be airbrushed. Which, oh my god, the fighting that I had to do with my airbrush the last few days has just been insane. But I have a leaky nozzle in the front of my airbrush. I'm not sure how it happened, but putting beeswax in the front of it fixes it. But it's just like figuring that out was such a headache. But it works perfect once I figured that out, right? But which is like the official warranty advice from Iwata. It's like, yeah, just put Vaseline or beeswax or something right around the thread and it'll work. And I was like, oh, that sounds funny. And I did it and it worked. And I was like, oh, thank you. Thank you for the sage advice. Iwata support team. Okay. So now I need clear green again here. Any brighter here or not, but we might go a little bit more yellow. Let's see. Iwata's known for their awesome customer service, for sure. Oh, you know how I mentioned last night about how Badger was like, oh, we sold a bunch of bad bottles of Stynylrez, and we're gonna let you know soon how you can contact us or whatever if you have a bad bottle. So they know, which batch was bad, and they know, like, who they sold the bottles to, right? Like, which distributors. So they know, if you can say, hey, I bought this from X place or whatever, like, either way, they know the information as to, what went wrong. Well, today, finally, Ken posted, the guy that runs Badger, he posted, like, well, because they can't afford to do it. I guarantee you they can't afford to do it. Or he doesn't want to. But he literally posted, like, the most pretentious thing today, where he's like, if you're an artist who believes you have a problematic bottle of Stynylrez, please email me directly with this in the title, and we will determine, if justified, a way to potentially correct the situation for you, or I will determine. Like, it was the most pretentious bullshit, and I have a huge bottle that's bad, right? And I was just like, dude, and you guys know already, I've dealt with Ken in the past, where he said he was going to send a bunch of shit, and he never did. I had to remind him twice, and then finally, after reminding him in person at ReaperCon, he was like, I'm so sorry, let me send you this bottle, and then he sent me, like, one bottle of shit, after saying he was going to do it for months and months and months, right? And, like, at ReaperCon, I literally I had somebody buy one of his giant airbrush sets in front of him. Like, I was like, yeah, I really recommend Badger, da-da-da. He just, like, didn't give a shit, so. But, yeah, so I think they just can't afford to fix the mistake, which I get it, I'm broke, and if I made a mistake right now with something, I can't really help all that much. But it's the fact that they know that the product wasn't good, and they still shipped it out to distributors, so, But either way, I thought it was really cute. I actually sent a screenshot of it to Sydney. I was like, look how he put this. And she was like, wow, that guy is really special. But yeah, you can tell they don't want to mention, like, because they know, again, there's no way they don't know where they sent the bad batches. And so, like, they very clearly do not want to tell people, hey, if you bought because they said it was recent as well, right? So they could have said, if you bought any Stynylrez from these 5 websites over, the last 3 months, please contact us, and we'll let you know how we might be able to help you out, right? So like, that is what I figured they would do, but instead it's a secret, and he's like, I will determine. Oh my god, you gotta love this industry, man. Gotta love it. But yeah, I broke open the newest bottle of Stynylrez that I had, which I honestly am wasting like half of a $30 bottle. It's like one of the biggest sizes they make, and I wouldn't have had to open this one at all, but the other one was like glossy and really goopy, and like it's not gloss black. It's not supposed to be glossy at all. And the newest one's fine that I have, but the other one is no good. I mean, I suppose if I need to like vandalize something, I could use it. I mean, I feel like these guys are looking pretty orky, not too bad for as quickly as we're painting them. I also like painting muscles anyway. I feel like it's a easy process, so it's easy to make it look good. Halloween is coming up. I know it's my mom's birthday, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I can't really afford anything. I was looking at an STL file that I wanted to buy that I could print for her of an owl, because she's a bird person, like she loves birds, but it was a little expensive, so I'm not sure. I mean, she understands, like she's not gonna expect me to buy her a gift right now, but last year I painted her that really awesome witch bust. This year's just a little bit different. I just can't buy my mom a gift, says the loser 30-year-old. I mean, it's a lot better. Like, Vallejo clogs pretty frequently, and people will tell you, like, to thin it. Stynylrez pretty much never have to. I mean, and I used Vallejo for years until I switched over to Stynylrez, but honestly, at this point, right, it's kind of like, well, are we going to keep getting weird batches? Because I'll just use Vallejo. But the amount of primer I have right now should be cool for quite some time, so I'm not too concerned. Okay. How does she feel about a half-used bottle? Yeah, exactly. Here you go, Mom. Throw this at somebody at work. Okay, worky number 2. This is not thin enough, but we'll make it work. I've heard the Vallejo Mecha primer is really good, but well, with muscles, you always push up to the closest shadow edge. So a lot of people make the mistake of highlighting, like they'll leave way too much shadow underneath the bottom side of a muscle, when in reality, you're supposed to push it right up underneath as close as you can go. I don't have any good example. Everything's in the display case behind me right now, but that's the best way to do it. You just push everything right up next to the nearest muscle. And then things will start looking much more better. But yeah, people always leave like way too much of a shadow. But hey, you know, paint how you want, man. But that's why I said like painting muscles is an easier thing to do, at least for me, because there's no guesswork, right? Like it's literally like paint by numbers. You're just following. So that's why like muscles and then lots of flowing cloth are always going to be the easiest thing. So. Like this guy will be a really good example of what to do, right? Just because he has this huge, gigantic muscles. This guy probably decent. Really, all of them are good. I mean, honestly, if you're gonna be painting miniatures for this game, it's like a crash course, right? But what's funny too is in Hero Forge, I made Sydney a proxy team of bunnies. Bunny wrestlers that have like spiked choker necklaces, and like one of them is really big and he has like a Chippendales bow on his neck, and it's like the heavy, and he's like doing this crazy kicking pose. So are you saying you push the brush up into where it shouldn't go? If that's the case, that's just brush control, right? Like the same techniques that I used for this are the same techniques you would use for regular muscles, right? So like it's all just about pushing your brush in the direction it needs to go and not like pulling it. So we'll pretend that this is like the class that I do when I'm at conventions. So everyone raise your hand if when you paint, you always do this, top to bottom, right? And then based on all the classes I've ever taught at conventions, 85+% of the room raises their hand. And it's like, yeah, you know you should be pushing your brush like a 45-degree angle like that. And if the paint is wet, right, you'll create a taper in the direction you're pushing, which allows you to do a blended highlight without blending paint, right? You have more brush control. Like little tricks like that will help you have more control over certain areas of a miniature whenever you're trying to paint. All of these things we cover all the time, every single month on Patreon, by the way. You can check it out, patreon.com/minipaintingstudio. Currently there's over 100 hours of Vault videos. We have our $10 level class this weekend on Saturday. But yeah, we have multiple brush control videos in there. We have like a sort of basic standards test in there. They're all ranging in different levels of difficulty and quality. The competition level stuff, like our current competition level project we're working on is this one. And we work on this for 1 hour every single week. So if you're at the $5 level, you get 1 2-hour class plus access to everything. Go up to the $10 level, you get a secondary class that's usually a little bit more difficult, covers a more difficult topic. And then if you do the Atelier tier, right, this is the project we're working on. And we just like, once that's complete, we just pick a new one, right, a different project, and we move on from there. But cater to everybody's needs. Typically. Unless you're like, I joined this Patreon to learn how to paint a very specific thing, like one miniature, then that's probably not happening. We don't really do it like that, but a lot of people seem to really like the 1 hour sessions with the Atelier. since I'm such a fast painter, right? Like, people can have a hard time following live, but so they end up having to rewatch the videos. But at the Atelier tier, right, they actually like it because that 1 hour is a little bit easier to digest. All right, cool, cool. So relatively pleased with these two guys for now. Let's put them down. Let's see, we've been going for 48 minutes. That didn't really leave me a lot of time. But okay, so we do have. All right, so we have this guy. Maybe we address those tomorrow. See how fast we can get. Let's mess around with our goblins here. Now I need my lime green-ish. So we're gonna mix a lime green here using clear green and yellow, and I'm gonna glaze this on top and hopefully retain a lot of the zenithal. And it's gonna be a cheat code for nice green goblin skin. Now see, we went a little bit dark, but all right, let's see. Let's see how quickly I can bang it out. And what I'm doing here is like directly brush control, because I'm trying to control where this glaze is hitting. And then after this stage, we'll just go directly in with the highlight. So this is more of a structure thing than anything else, really. But working with paint this thin, it dries pretty much immediately. As soon as I'm done touching it, which allows me to layer it way faster. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, that just sounds like a brush control thing. I mean, I'm not sure, are you a new painter? Or like, because yeah, to me it just sounds like a brush control issue. It's probably also a size of the brush, possibly even the consistency of the paint usually has something to do with that. One thing that I always recommend if you have brush control issues, if you're someone that paints with multiple sizes of brushes, stop doing that and only paint with one size of brush for as much as you can, for as long as you can. I only ever use one brush for every single thing I do, period. I use a size 1 Series 10 Da Vinci. And any kind of watercolor brush is always going to give you, I mean, look at how fast we built up those highlights there, right? I mean, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Any watercolor brush is always going to be the best brush to use. That's why people used to like Winsor & Newton's, but Winsor & Newton now is very dubious. In terms of quality, it's pretty shitty. You can still get a good brush occasionally, but a lot of people have problems the second they start using it now. But Da Vinci's really good, Raphael is good, people like those, I don't really mess with them. I just really have like honed in on the way that the Da Vinci's work, so I'll probably use them forever. Some people like the Series 35 because they're longer. I like a fuller English round, which is what the Series 10 is. In fine art terms, it just means it's fat and has a wide belly, as opposed to the Series 35, which is like a thin sort of liner. Used more for precision than utility, like a full round would be. When I was in college, we didn't use. What's funny is we only did watercolor like once, so we didn't actually get to use anything really nice. You know what I need to do? I need to shave his nose, because that is a sharp edge. Where are my sticks, man? Where are my sticks? I don't have. Oh, they're right here. Pray for his nose. I know, a little crazy. Well, I was a studio art painting major, and watercolor isn't really seen as like a fine art in most schools unless you have like a department for it. Otherwise, it's, you know, oil painting and maybe acrylic. Acrylic isn't even really looked highly upon just because it's cheap. But that's fine art for you. And yeah, even with acrylic paint, you know, you're not allowed to buy the cheap shit. You gotta buy the like studio paints, which are expensive. There we go. Fix the nose. All right, so I'm just gonna cover this with the dark green here. We'll build it back up. Much better. Yeah, dude, I'll never forget spending $1,200 on my art history book my sophomore year for them to cancel that edition of the book and have it only be worth $100 when I sold it the following semester. Now, to be fair, it was on a loan, of course. Like all my books were not paid for out of pocket. I paid for them years and years and years and years later, of course. But I was just pissed because I couldn't get cash back. You know what I mean? And then once I had the debate scholarship, I realized I could finesse my loans because, I mean, that sounds a little fucked up, but it's true. So I could finesse my loan to where my debate scholarship would cover a lot, right, of like anything I needed. And so I would enroll in like 20 hours of classes, and then I would drop it down to 12 or 15, depending on how much I was traveling for debate. And then with that, I was able to immediately... Where the fuck did I put the white? Dude, where's the white paint? Did I drop it? How did I do this? You guys see? Oh, we'll just use this. I know, that's what I was looking for, was like the messed up bottle, but I don't even see that. Unless like oh my god. It was right in front of me, guys. Alright, well, we're just gonna use neon. But anyway, so I would over-enroll and then drop a couple, and then at that point, so the way the Bursar worked, scholarships processed before your Bursar account, meaning, you know, my student loan would kick in after my debate scholarship, and so I would over-enroll in a few classes. The debate scholarship would pay for everything, and then I would bounce out of it, and then I would get the cash back directly, and it wouldn't touch the loan. And so, you know, if a book was like, you know, if the class was like $800 to, well, they were more expensive. So usually it was like $1,800 for a full class, and then the book would be like another couple hundred on top of that, and I would just get cash back every semester, like $2,000, $2,500, and that would like be my rent for the semester. And that, ladies and gents, is how a financially illiterate child learns how to fuck over capitalism, right? But hey. Yeah, looking back on it now, like, there was zero actual, like, discussion with anyone as to, like, what these loans were, what they were gonna do, what the wisest time was to do with the loan, if you should be, like, it is just such a scam, dude, taking little 18-year-olds to be like, alright, we're gonna throw you into debt, and then we're gonna yell at you if there's no job available when you graduate. We're gonna act like you're an idiot. Like, oh, okay. Thanks, guys. Sounds good. Yeah, I like how student loans are the only loan you can't get out of with bankruptcy as well. That should tell you everything you need to know. They're like, well, you're not forgetting everything you learned in college. Well, please. Tell that to my psych class. I don't remember shit about that. The one class that did pay off was the color theory class called Color. I've talked about that a few times with the crazy instructor. The beer did that. Yeah, I didn't really drink. It was just so much weed. Before it was legal in the state, of course. Man, you'd be shocked how many professors smoke weed too, like actively, like with students. Oh, that is pretty smart, actually. Yeah, I like the idea of the way that like coding boot camps do it, where the tuition will be like 20 grand. Something like that, right? So the equivalent literally of like going to a small state school or a community college. And the way that it works is then they land you a job, and then they it's kind of like a recruiter, except not a piece of shit, because everybody knows recruiters are literally, unless someone watching right now is a recruiter, peace and love to your family, but everybody knows they're pieces of shit because they call you and they're like, this job pays $50,000 a year when really it pays $65,000, and they're pocketing, right, the rest of the money. So with like coding camps, they land the job, and then once you land the job, that's how you're paying for the tuition, and it just comes out of your paycheck, right? I think that's pretty smart. I feel like that should be how colleges work, because then they won't do bullshit like, oh, I got a major in leadership, right? Like, what the fuck? You know, okay, so what, you're gonna be a team leader at Walmart, you know what I mean? Or like, you're gonna be a youth pastor, you know, like, there are lots of fake degrees, and a college is never gonna tell somebody, don't get this fake ass degree, right? Because it's a business. So if the only way a college is gonna get paid is by you getting a job, right, and being employed and getting paid to pay it back, that would kind of stop that whole predatory nature of just like letting kids get dumbass degrees. Or the difference would also mean, right, like, so long story short, I got accepted to the best art and design school in the country, full ride on portfolio, but my parents were not at all okay with me moving to Georgia and you know, going to the school. They didn't think this, like, my dad literally told me like design wasn't a real career. Now his opinion is completely different after I worked in design for 10 plus years. But so like at that school, you actually have to like apply and be good at what you do to get accepted, right? It isn't just like you sign up and there you go. At the school I went to here, and the reason I went is because I didn't have to change my major and debate paid for everything. So I was like, well, you know, because my dad was like, get a business degree and we'll pay for you to go to any school. And I'm like, well, that's not what I want to do. But so, you know, the school that I went to, there would be people in my classes that literally like, they picked an art degree and they're like, I'm here to learn how to be an artist, right? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like zero experience in life drawing, and they're like, oh, I'm in intro to life drawing or intro to draw. Like it was just very kind of disheartening to realize like there was no threshold of entry. And so there were multiple classes, studio classes, where, you know, I would always be picked at the end of our life drawing class as like the example for everyone else to look at for what they need to do next time. So I didn't grow as an artist because there was no critique given to me. It was just everyone else, right, should try and do what I was doing or whatever. So, you know, that's also a thing that I think is bad, at least in creative fields, is that if you're going to a school that doesn't have any like actual competition, then it's pointless. You know, the upper level classes, you did have to like pass this portfolio class your junior year, and if you didn't pass it, you had to like do it again 6 months later or whatever. But they literally passed anybody. It wasn't real, you know. So, not a fan of that, and I think that also is like part of the problem with college in general, right? Like, there is no real competition. Obviously, you have to pass your classes, which, you know, that's why something like free college makes sense, because like if it's free, it's going to be harder because more people can do it, and then you're still going to fail. You know what I mean? Like kids are still not going to go to class, and they're going to fail. They're going to flunk out. There you go. Right? They just wash themselves out. But that's good. That's really funny. It was never like that with the painting stuff though. It was my skill was drawing. Like you know, we would have like a nude model, and I was good at doing that. Hey Chris, I saw you pop in. We are literally just about to call it quits, but tonight, not bad. I mean, I got skin done on 4, and the outfits are going to be super basic. So we got sort of this basic orky skin done on these guys, and then I'm going for brighter goblin-y skin on these. We're going to go directly in with the neon green here for a second. Wrestling. Yeah, so it's for the game Rumbleslam, which is literally like fantasy wrestling. Imagine getting thrown out of the ring by this guy. That would suck. Actually, you really can't. Fighters have a weight class, and so this guy obviously is like weight class fart, and he can probably only throw other farts out of the ring. Like he can't pick up, you know, somebody big. He can probably throw like a halfling out of the ring. They're the same size. Where's the halfling? Right here. Right. So I need to sculpt a finger on that at some point. Oh, fair enough, yeah. Oh, what's funny is one of the teams that I have is like undead. And so there's like an orc skeleton and a zombie and a mummy, right? And the zombie literally is missing a hand. But it looks like it like broke off. So when I was opening that box for the first time, I was like, oh dude, is this missing a part? Like another part? What? Come on, I can't like sculpt the whole hand, you know. But then I look at the card and he's missing an arm. Like, you know, he's just built different, as they say. But thanks so much for hanging out this evening. Tomorrow I might call an audible and we'll just continue working on this. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to keep, you know, a varied schedule, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if people care enough, so. But, I mean, these are orcs technically, right? That counts for Orktober. Let's see what happens if I go in on the face with this a little bit. Let me see. We might highlight up the facial features with this color for the orcs. Rather than the rest of their body. Yeah, we'll go a little bit brighter on the face. I'll do that really quick before we call it. But again, this weekend we do have a class on Patreon, so make sure you check that out if you haven't before. Patreon.com/MiniPaintingStudio. Signing up on the Patreon does also get you access to over 100 hours of previous classes, and then the 3D print shop where we select miniatures for the classes. And there's literally like 800 minis on the shop right now, so. so many things. Beyond that, you know, I don't really know what else we got going on this week, other than me suddenly painting wrestling works. Sunday we have the next Atelier video, which is more non-metallic metal. As we continue to hopefully somehow finish someday soon the Paladin bus we've been working on. But to the bundles welcome at this point? Yes, I mean, literally, I don't know how I'm failing to beg enough or stress the situation enough to everyone, so like I feel like I've made it pretty clear what's been going on. Maybe I haven't. I mean, do I have to make like a begging post on Patreon? Like, guys, like, what do you, like, please put in orders if you've been waiting. Jesus, please, because I'm gonna be like quitting here soon because no one's ordering anything. But you're the second person to act like I'm not wanting orders because I was sick for so long, but that hasn't been the case for a long time. Like, literally over a month, 2 months. Because yeah, it'll be a sad day. All of a sudden, I'm done streaming. Like, literally, period. Except Patreon. People are like, whatever happened to him? I'm like, well, you should know what happened. Had a health emergency, came back, nobody was there. So, had to quit. Even though we had more viewers tonight than we did yesterday, so that's a good sign. I mean, by like 3 people at a time, so really nothing like it used to be, but you know, I just need, like, I already lost $100 worth of people off of Patreon this month, in the next month, so I doubt I can recover that by the end of the month, right? So I'm, like, that's really scary, like, it's just not good, man. You know, it sucks to think that, like, I can have a health emergency that literally was terrifying to deal with, and then once I start to feel better, the business fails, and then what am I supposed to do, right? Like, I think that's the biggest joke of the whole situation. Is like getting over the lung stuff and all the pain I was in was like monumental. But what was the point in like rushing to feel better if it made no difference? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what I'm having a hard time dealing with now. So. But either way, I really just need to be able to survive an extra month so I can figure out a job that I can do, since I've been running a business for 5 years. I can't wait to go on an interview where someone like says some bullshit about like, well, why would I hire somebody that like couldn't make a business work or some shit like that? You know what I mean? Because in Oklahoma, they act like any shitty job is like a blessing. So I'm sure I will walk out of a few interviews. Dude, the last time I was like, so before I started doing this full time, the last interview I went on in Oklahoma City, the first thing out of the creative, and this was at a design firm, right? Or at a marketing firm. The first thing out of the owner's mouth was, well, I can tell you right now, we don't have a position for you, but I called you in today to have a conversation because we don't find people with your skill set a lot in Oklahoma City. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was so pissed off. And he was like, yeah, we may, you know, I just want to keep you in the pocket in case we have special jobs come up and because like I did video animation, like all kinds of stuff like that. And I'll just never forget him being like, I don't want to hire you, I just wanted to meet you. And I just was like, you fucking suck, dude. What an asshole. And then, like, you know, I went on multiple interviews. It was a 4-month process with a design firm in Dallas. And the second I got there, the other partner, like, literally acted like they didn't want me there. And the other owner was the guy that I'd been talking to for months. And he's like, yeah, this will be the final interview, see if you mesh with the team, and da-da-da-da. And, like, everything I had to say about previous work experiences, the other owner, like, didn't give a shit. And so I just knew I wasn't getting the job. And then, like, I sent them an invoice for the mileage because I drove all the way from Oklahoma, right? And it was like, I don't even know, $60 worth of gas. And they wouldn't even give me $60 worth of gas, right? After literally talking to me for 4 months about a job. Like, it was just such a bullshit, man. But, you know, I can't really get that kind of job because I haven't been doing it in 5 years. So I'll be like, hey, Walmart, really fun. But anyway, did pretty good tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night. Not sure what we're going to be working on, but we'll figure it out. Either way, thanks for hanging out. Have a good rest of your evening.